The warning that shook the stars had never felt quiet like this before. Across hundreds of systems, from icy moons to golden cities floating in gas giants' clouds, the same message echoed in every tongue and every frequency. Earth is preparing to launch its warships. Brace for conflict. The Galactic Circle, the most powerful alliance of alien races, called an emergency meeting within hours. Leaders from every corner of space gathered. Giant insectoid creatures sat beside smooth-scaled reptiles, floating mines shimmered behind glass tanks, and warriors in heavy armor thudded into place with loaded weapons at their sides. No one questioned the threat. Humans had always been strange, too quiet, too fast, too stubborn. When Earth had first joined the galaxy a decade ago, many thought they would be easy to control. They weren't. They never started fights. But they finished every one. Now the Circle feared the worst. Some species wanted to attack first. Others wanted to run. A few whispered about surrendering early. Everyone remembered the Red Moon battle, where a single human destroyer tore apart an entire pirate fleet in less than 5 minutes. That story had traveled faster than light. At the same time, in a far corner of the galaxy, deep inside the archive. World of Arden 3, a quiet woman named Lena sat alone in a dusty records vault. She wasn't a soldier. She wasn't a spy. She was a data analyst, someone who cleaned up old digital records and organized them for historians. Lena had always been curious about Earth. The humans fascinated her, especially how they spoke about peace while training like war was around every corner. So when the war warning about Earth came through official channels, Lena wanted to see the original message for herself. It took her 3 hours to find it, and only 3 seconds to know something was very wrong. The message wasn't from Earth. It looked like it was, but the digital stamp used for verification belonged to a diplomatic channel that had been closed for years. The encryption was wrong too, slightly off, like someone had copied it by hand. Lena frowned. The signals. Time signature didn't match the day it was supposedly sent. She double-checked the file, then checked it again. Someone had faked the warning. And no one had noticed. Or maybe someone noticed and let it happen. Lena didn't know who to trust. She couldn't go to her boss, he was part of the Circle. She couldn't send a report, it would be buried. So she did the only thing she could think of. She packed up a small data pad, stuffed it into her jacket, and booked a one-way shuttle to the outer edge of the system. Her destination, Moon 12, a small outpost where a former Circle security officer lived in retirement. His name was Halen. He was once in charge of high-level operations before he quit after refusing to follow an order to silence a protest on a human colony. Lena didn't know him personally. But she had read his file once and she remembered one line clearly: if there's ever a war with Earth, it won't be because of them. It'll be because of us. The shuttle ride was long. Lena tried not to think about the world she left behind. News reports were already calling Earth's silence a terrifying confirmation. More and more systems were moving fleets closer to Earth space. Some claimed the humans had already activated their planet-wide defense shield. Others swore that a hidden fleet of invisible warships was waiting just outside the known star map. Lena knew none of it was true. But lies, once spoken, had power. By the time her shuttle landed on Moon 12, she could feel the tension in the air. Even the local miners were wearing armor now. Halen met her near the landing bay. He looked tired, older than his file picture, but his eyes were sharp. She didn't waste time. I think the war warning was a lie, she told him, handing him the data pad. He didn't blink. He just nodded slowly. I've been wondering when someone else would notice. Lena stared at him. You knew? Halen gave a small smile. No. But I had a feeling. The galaxy's too eager to be afraid of humans. All it needed was a push. He looked at the stars above, and someone gave it. Asterisk the lie that sparked fire. Lena and Halen sat in the small command room of his outpost. It was quiet, except for the low hum of power systems. Screens flickered with slow-rotating satellite feeds and long-range comm chatter. Outside the thick windows, Moon 12's surface stretched empty and grey, lit only by distant starlight. Halen held the data pad, reading every line Lena had uncovered. You were right, he said finally. This seal doesn't belong to any current Earth channel. It was shut down 9 years ago after the trade dispute on Delta 6. No one should have been able to access it. Lena leaned forward. But someone did. They took that old channel, faked the encryption, and sent a message saying Earth was preparing to wipe out 3 systems. And that's all it took to light the fire, Halen muttered. He tapped a few buttons on his console, pulling up galactic news. It was worse than Lena thought. Several species had already begun fleet movements toward Earth's edge. A few border skirmishes had already broken out, nervous ships firing warning shots at anything that moved too fast. A few seconds of silence passed. Then Halen spoke, his voice low. I think someone wants war. Lena stared at him. But why? Earth hasn't attacked anyone. They haven't even expanded since joining the circle. Exactly, Halen said. That's what makes them dangerous. They don't act like the rest of us. They wait. They think. And then they strike only when it matters. He looked at the screen again. There are species out there, governments, companies, warlords, who hate that. They can't control humans. So maybe they decided it's easier to turn the galaxy against them before Earth becomes too strong. Lena's stomach turned. So we are all being played. Like a violin, Halen said grimly. And whoever started this is about to get the war they wanted. Lena stood up. Then we have to stop it. Halen raised an eyebrow. You mean 2 people on a moon with no fleet, no power, and no clearance are going to stop the galaxy from going to war with Earth? Yes, Lena said. Because we have the truth. And Earth deserves to know they've been framed. Halen studied her face for a moment. Then he gave a short nod. All right. But we don't send this through normal channels. If we do, it'll be erased, or worse, used as proof that Earth is covering something up. He reached into a locked drawer and pulled out a small black cube, a message pod with no identification signal. This is off-grid tech. We'll send your findings directly to one of Earth's deep scan outposts. If anyone's watching the border, they'll see it. He paused, and then we wait. They launched the message pod just before dawn. It shot off into the stars like a tiny comet, leaving a trail of blue fire behind. Lena watched it go, her heart pounding. Hours passed. Then a day. Then 2. The galaxy spun faster. War drums beat louder. News feeds showed massive fleets gathering at border zones. Thousands of ships lined up, ready to strike. People everywhere, ordinary citizens, began preparing for the worst. On the 3rd night, Halen's console pinged. Incoming signal. It was short. A single phrase, we know. We are waiting. Lena's eyes widened. They got the message. Halen leaned back in his chair, a slow smile on his face. Earth knows. But why didn't they say more? Lena asked. Why not stop the war right now? Halen looked at her, his face serious again, because silence is louder than threats. And Earth, they've always known how to use silence better than words. Across the galaxy, that message was intercepted by 6 listening stations. 3 words. No threats. No demands. No denials, just quiet confidence. We know. We are waiting, and with that, panic began to spread, not among humans, but across alien systems. If Earth wasn't denying it, what were they really planning? Rumors flew like wildfire. Some said Earth had already built invisible fleets. Others claimed they had starkillers in orbit. A few believed the humans had weapons that could erase memory itself, clean a mind like wiping a hard drive, and worst of all, what if Earth had stayed silent on purpose? What if the lie was part of something far bigger? Shadows in the circle in the heart of the galaxy, where the lights of 1,000 stars met, floated the massive structure known as the Galactic Circle headquarters. The outer ring spun slowly, always glowing with deep blue light, while the inner chambers pulsed with heat and pressure from constant data exchanges. Here, leaders made laws, broke treaties, and shaped the fates of entire worlds. Now, those halls were filled with fear. Dozens of alien leaders sat in silence as screens showed images of Earth's known military assets. Though fewer in number than most fleets, each human warship was built like a moving mountain, dense, strange, and far more advanced than their size suggested. But it wasn't the ships that scared the Council, it was the message, we know. We are waiting. No one could agree on what it meant. Was it a threat? A warning? Or something else entirely. Some claimed it was proof that Earth was guilty. Others insisted it showed Earth had nothing to hide. And through it all, one question whispered through every meeting room: who started the lie? In a quiet chamber far below the main floor, Lena and Halen moved through shadows. Disguised as system technicians, they slipped past patrol drones and scanning posts using stolen access codes. I can't believe this place is still so unguarded, Lena whispered. Too many believe they are untouchable, Halen said. No. One thinks anyone would be crazy enough to sneak into the data core. They reached a tall security door. Halen inserted a thin card, and the lights flickered green. Inside, rows of glowing pillars rose like crystal trees. Each one held years of communication logs, reports, and secret council orders. Halen pulled up the war warning from the diplomatic channel, the very message that had started it all. Lena began her search. It's here, she said after a minute. The transmission was routed through 5 proxy satellites. But the original signature, she paused. Halen walked over. What is it? The encryption key belongs to Councillor Brell. But is dead. Died 5 years ago. They looked at each other. Someone used a dead man's key to start a war, Halen muttered. Lena dug deeper. And there's more. There's a deletion log here. Someone tried to erase the warning 3 days after it was sent. But it was blocked by a high-level firewall. That means someone else in the circle knew it was fake, Halen finished grimly. That was the truth they needed. Before they could leave, an alarm rang out, unauthorized access detected. Lockdown initiated. Red lights flashed. Doors slammed shut. Drones buzzed to life. Lena's heart raced. We have to go, she shouted, this way. Halen grabbed her arm and led her down a narrow maintenance tunnel. The drones gave chase, but the path was too tight for their wings. Breathless, they emerged into an old storage hangar deep in the underbelly of the council base. Halen's personal skimmer ship was docked there, dusty but functional. They launched it just as the drones caught up. Blaster fire sizzled past the engines, but Halen pulled hard, dodging between scaffolds and pipes. Then they were out in open space, flying fast toward a nearby asteroid belt. As they drifted into a dark crater to hide, Lena sat back, gasping. We have the proof, she said. Yeah, Halen said, checking the data cube in his pocket. But now they know we're alive. And that we know too much. Lena leaned against the wall, shaking. Someone in the council tried to bury the truth. But it's out now. Earth knows. And if we don't act fast, they'll either destroy us or the galaxy will destroy itself trying. For above them, the galactic circle held another emergency meeting point. One counselor rose slowly and spoke in a cold voice. We must prepare a first strike on Earth. Their silence is too dangerous. We will not wait for their fleet to appear. But no fleet had appeared. Not yet, and still. The galaxy trembled, not because of what Earth had done, but because someone had lied, and now the truth threatened to destroy everything. Earth's silence is misunderstood. News spread faster than light, across trading routes, smuggler nets, military beacons, and backroom channels. Every species began to whisper the same thing: Earth knows. But Earth said nothing more. There were no follow-up transmissions. No war declarations. No peace offers. Just that one calm message. And the silence that followed it was louder than any fleet launch. To many, Earth's quiet was terrifying. They are preparing, some said. They don't need to speak, others warned. Their silence means they've already decided, whispered a counselor before resigning. On colony worlds and space stations, civilians panicked. Supplies were hoarded. Starports overflowed with ships trying to flee outer systems. Military units were placed on high alert, fingers hovering near triggers. Everyone expected Earth's warships to arrive at any moment, but none came. At the edge of known space, nestled within a dusty asteroid field, Outpost 17 watched the chaos unfold. Through encrypted feeds. It was one of Earth's secret observation posts, small, quiet, and hidden behind layers of stealth tech. Inside, a few humans monitored the galaxy's reaction to the false war. Captain Drew, the officer in charge, stood silently as the data streams lit up with fresh panic. He turned to his communication officer. Anything from the council? No direct message, sir. But there are calls for a preemptive strike. Some species are voting to move forward even without full agreement. And Earth? Still under silent protocol. Drew nodded. Then we continue to watch. Meanwhile, hidden deep within a mining colony, Lena and Halen listened in horror as the news feeds updated again. They are calling it Operation Clean Sky, Halen said. A strike plan against Earth's known border stations and outposts. They think they are neutralizing threats before a human assault. Lena paced the room. But Earth hasn't even moved a fleet. That's the problem, Halen said. They are so afraid of what might happen, they are acting first. They'd rather risk war than wait for proof. Lena stopped. Then we need to give them the proof now. Not just Earth, but everyone. The truth needs to go public. Halen hesitated. If we do that, we become targets. We already are, Lena said firmly. But if we don't act, the galaxy will fire the first shot. And once it starts, Earth won't stay silent. In a hidden chamber aboard a neutral broadcasting satellite, Lena and Halen worked through the night. They edited the raw data, added encrypted files, security logs, and digital trails. The fake warning. The dead counselor's stolen codes. The block deletion attempts. Everything that showed the lie and how high it reached, and then they sent it not to one channel, but to all of them. Within hours, it went viral. Billions of beings watched in silence as the transmission played. The warning was false. The encryption was forged. Earth never made the threat. Someone inside the circle did. Someone wanted war. The galaxy held its breath. On the council floor, chaos erupted. Accusations flew. Security guards dragged out 2 counselors in chains. One was crying. The other simply smirked. A third counselor vanished that same night, along with an entire file room. The public was outraged. Citizens marched. Ships turned away from Earth space. Fleets hesitated. Some captains began questioning their orders. One alien admiral even defected, refusing to attack without clear justification. Still, Earth said nothing. Captain Drew watched the feeds with narrowed eyes. They know the truth now. But they still don't trust it. His second in command, a young officer named Bren, leaned closer. Should we speak? Drew shook his head. No. The moment we speak, they'll twist our words. Let them stew in their own fear. Earth's strength isn't our ships. It's what they think we are hiding. He paused. And right now, they think we are hiding everything. On a distant moon, Lena stared at the stars. I thought once they saw the truth, the fear would stop. Halen stood beside her. It won't. Not yet. Then what happens next? He looked up at the sky. Now the ones who built the lie will try to silence it and us. But the galaxy's already broken. It just doesn't know it yet. Lena closed her eyes, whispering, Earth didn't shatter the stars. The lie did. Asterisk. The truth reaches the wrong. Is the transmission was supposed to bring calm. Instead, it set the galaxy on fire. When the proof of the lie went public, when citizens, soldiers, and leaders saw the truth behind the fake war warning, there was shock, then confusion, and then rage. Worlds once loyal to the galactic circle began to splinter. Riots broke out on major colony planets. Military commanders refused new orders. Some council members were put under arrest. Others simply vanished without a trace. But the truth didn't just reach the right people. It also reached the wrong ones. On the dark side of a gas giant, inside a drifting station long thought abandoned, a secret group watched the chaos unfold. They were known only by whispers, the echo chain. No flags. No government. No faces. Just influence. They had one goal: control the future of the galaxy by shaping its fear. And Earth had always been a threat to that control. They moved too fast, said one voice from the shadows. The truth was supposed to surface after the first strike, said another. They know the lie now. The girl, Lena. She broke it open. And the human officer helped her, added a third voice. They both must be silenced before this spreads further. Agreed. Prepare the final wave. We'll give the galaxy one more lie. Back on the hidden mining colony, Lena felt the danger closing in. This isn't over, she told Halen. We exposed the lie, but now they'll come after us. Halen was already packing supplies. Then we move again. They can't catch what they can't find. Just then, a warning light blinked on the console. Unmarked ships, 6 of them, were approaching at high speed. No signals. No flags. Just quiet, smooth motion through the black dot. Lena's voice trembled. They found us. Halen slammed a button on the wall, sealing the room. We're not dead yet. He sent an emergency burst transmission to Captain Drew at Outpost 17. They are here. Echo chain. Tracking us. Send help or send proof we are gone. Seconds later, the roof shook. Dust rained from the ceiling. Explosions echoed down the shaft. Lena clutched the data cube. If we die, this goes with us. Halen turned, eyes calm. No. You're leaving. He opened a hidden panel inside. Was a narrow escape tunnel and a fast, one-person dropship. Lena froze. You're not coming. I'll hold them off. Someone needs to stay behind and buy time. She hesitated. Halen, go, he said gently. Truth isn't worth anything if the messenger dies before it spreads. Lena hugged him tightly, then climbed into the pod. A second later, the hatch closed and the small ship blasted through the rock, away from the colony. Behind her, the mine exploded in a storm of dust and fire. She didn't look back. And meanwhile, on a bustling trade moon, a young alien reporter named Milo stumbled across the leaked file. He had no connection to the council. No loyalty to any faction. Just curiosity and a wide audience. He uploaded everything, not just the video, but the raw files. The metadata. The tampered encryption. The names of the officials involved. Even private messages between council members panicking about what they'd done. It went everywhere. Within hours, billions had seen it. The circle couldn't contain it. Even children were whispering about the great lie. Armies began to disobey. Entire fleets turned around. A few leaders stepped down in disgrace, but not all. Some doubled down. We cannot allow Earth to gain power through pity, one general barked during a broadcast. The humans are still a threat. And if they didn't send the message, they benefited from it. The general's broadcast was cut off halfway, not by Earth. By his own crew. On Outpost 17, Captain Drew watched it unfold with a slow shake of his head. The truth hit harder than any warhead, his officer said. Drew replied, because truth destroys trust. And without trust, the circle can't stand. Just then, a signal came through. Elena, breathing hard, eyes wide, her ship damaged but still flying. Halen's gone, she whispered. I'm alive. I have the rest of the data. But they are not giving up. Captain Drew nodded once. Get here. We'll make sure his death wasn't wasted. The screen went dark and now, from the ashes of lies and silence, a question rose across the stars. If one lie could nearly end the galaxy, what could one truth rebuild? Collapse without a shot. The galactic circle had stood for over 400 years. It had survived border wars, famines, and the rise and fall of empires. But it would not survive ALIE.I and the days after Lena's escape and the full leak of Echo Chain's conspiracy. Everything began to crack. Ships refused orders. Fleets returned to their homeworlds. Long-standing allies turned against each other. Trade froze. Outer systems declared independence. Some leaders vanished. Others begged Earth for forgiveness, sending desperate pleas into the void, but Earth still said nothing, and somehow, that silence carried more weight than all the galaxy's screams. On Outpost 17, Lena arrived in a badly damaged ship. Captain Drew and his team brought her inside. She had bruises, burns, and red eyes from smoke, but her hand still held the data cube tight. This is all of it, she said. Names. Meetings. Logs. The people who made the lie and the ones who protected it. Drew took it carefully. You did well. Halen would be proud. Lena nodded, her face unreadable. They killed him. Because he helped me tell the truth. Drew placed a hand on her shoulder. Then we make sure no one forgets it. They uploaded the cube's contents to Earth's Defense Council. Within hours, Earth's secure channels opened for the first time since the warning. One human diplomat, an older man in a simple grey suit, appeared on screens across hundreds of systems. His message was short. We have seen your fear. We have heard your threats. We did not start this. But we have endured it. Earth will not strike first. But if another hand is raised, it will be the last war the galaxy ever sees. We ask only this: step back. See who truly made the lie. And stop them. Before we do. The message was broadcast in every known language, and with that, Earth returned to silence. The effect was immediate. On the circle's core world, half the council walked out. The hall, once filled with power, stood half empty and echoing. Systems declared neutrality. Some even turned against the circle's leadership, calling for trials. Cities burned. Old enemies made peace. New alliances began in secret. Others gave up war altogether, and those who still demanded Earth's destruction, they found their fleets crumbling from the inside. Captains refused orders. Soldiers stepped down. Civilian ships blocked warships in orbit. No one wanted to be the one to test Earth's promise. In the shadows, the echo chain tried to survive. They sent agents to silence more witnesses. They tried to plant new lies, twist new fears. But it was too late. Their web had torn open. One by one, their hidden stations were discovered. Some were captured. Others were left floating, empty, abandoned. By their own. A few committed suicide before being taken. On one such station, a simple message was left behind: we controlled the galaxy. Until silence spoke louder than we ever could. Back at Outpost 17, Lena stood at the viewing window. Earth hung like a blue marble far in the distance, silent, still, and untouched. You never launched a single ship, she whispered, Captain. Drew stepped beside her. We didn't need to. You let them believe you had fleets ready to burn the stars. We did, Drew said. But we chose not to. Lena looked at him. Why? Because real power isn't in fire. It's in restraint. Let them imagine what we could have done. That fear broke them faster than any war. She nodded slowly. So, is it over? Drew looked out at the stars. No. But the circles? Falling. And from the pieces, something new will grow. Maybe something better. He turned to her, and thanks to you, it might be built on truth this time. Across the galaxy, statues fell. Flags were torn down. Governments rewrote their histories overnight. And for the first time in centuries, people no longer looked at Earth as a wild card. They looked with respect, not because Earth destroyed anyone, but because they could have, and chose not to. Humanity's power was never its fleet. Time passed. The galactic circle, once the unshakable center of law and power, became a hollow shell. Its great halls remained, but its influence was shattered. Many species pulled away, unwilling to trust. A system so easily twisted by fear, the war that almost consumed the stars had never happened. Not a single Terran warship had fired. No fleet crossed the borders. No planet was destroyed, and yet, the galaxy had been forever changed. On Earth, within a quiet chamber of the Global Defense Council, a meeting was held, not about retaliation, not about punishment, but about restraint. A young officer stood before the group, reading a final report: the message leak, the echo chain's exposure, and the peaceful dismantling of the Council's military plans. All stemmed from the actions of two individuals, Lena of Arden, 3, and retired Commander Halen of Moon, 12. The room was quiet as the Council approved a resolution: they would not build more ships, they would not send a fleet, they would wait, because Earth had already spoken. Not with weapons, but with silence. With clarity. With discipline, and that had done more than any war ever could. On Outpost 17, Lena walked through the quiet halls. Repairs were still ongoing after the last attack. But life was returning. She paused at a new memorial wall. Halen's name was etched into the center. Around it were names of truth spreaders, whistleblowers, defecting officers, people who had chosen peace over fear. Captain Drew approached with a data tablet. Thought you'd want to see this, he said. Broadcast just came in. 12. More systems have formally left the old circle. They are joining something new. A neutral coalition. Built on truth sharing and transparency. Is Earth part of it? Lena asked. Drew smiled. Not officially. But they asked us to send observers. They want humans there, not as leaders, not as threats, but as witnesses. Lena nodded. That's good. The galaxy needs witnesses. Now. Drew gestured toward the stars. They feared our ships. But you gave them something better. Proof that we didn't need to fight to win. She looked out into the black. No one trusted humans before. Now, they know better. Elsewhere. Across the galaxy, change took root. A warlord disbanded his army after reading Halen's file. A university on a desert moon added galactic ethics to its main curriculum. And on a quiet world, a child asked his teacher, why didn't the humans attack us when they could? The teacher smiled, because real strength isn't destroying your enemy. It's knowing you could and choosing not to. In the end, the lie didn't destroy Earth. It revealed the galaxy's weakness and humanity's terrifying strength, and the galaxy learned something it would never forget: humanity's greatest power was never its weapons. Not its fleets. Not even its silence. It was the fear of what humans might do, and the wisdom of what they chose not to. Asterisk.